guys, what is up? This is part 3 of our first What If series. What if Gretzky didn't or never got traded? And let's just say that it's been a pretty good success so far. The Oilers have won, 3 Stanley Cups, including 2 in a row, something they were never able to do in real life. Okay, guys, I actually just got my facts mixed up. They were actually able to get 2 in a row. I meant that they weren't able to get 3 in a row. Just a quick FYI. And so in total, that brings their cup total without Gretzky to 3-1, as the Oilers won 1 in 1990 after he left, but never won after that. So far they have been doing pretty well. Unfortunately, we found last video that they are on a bit of a decline. You'll see what I mean here when I bring up their roster. It's definitely not as solid as it used to be. Like, Gretzky's 34, Messier's 34. Gretzky's still 5-star ability and potential, but Messier's kind of going down. Curry isn't as good as he used to be. Fuhr isn't really a starter anymore, only 2 stars. And the rest of the team has really declined or got traded. As you guys know, Paul Coffey was the only major departure. He left the team pretty early. And then also Andy Mood left in the expansion draft when they chose to protect Fuhr. Other than that, Gretzky, Messier, Curry are still here. Fuhr is still here. Tikkanen's still here. Glenn Anderson's still here. And Jeff Bukaboom is still here. So the team's probably not a contender yet. Gretzky signed for 4 more years at a salary of 1.4, which is a lot, because I remember when he got it was a $1 million contract or something like that with LA, and it was a massive deal. Let's look at his career stats. For the last few years here, 1994-95, he got 61 points in the shortened season to just 42 games. He got 148 points, 169 points, 153 points. So he's consistently getting up there. Our first season with him was in 1970 or 87-88, which was the only season he broke the 200-point barrier and broke his goals record. And his point total that year is 204. So his career totals are at 2,793 points in 1,284 games. So from what I remember, he's only he's not even 100 points away from his record. So 2 more seasons max, he should break his record and possibly even get to 3,000. It's unlikely, but it is possible. He hasn't declined at all. So I'm hoping to end the series in this video. He's 34. In real life, he retires in 4 years. So I might do that. I also might not, and if it doesn't happen, then I'll definitely end it in part 4. Let me know what you think of this series, and you can tell me what else you think I should do. So as you can see from the Oilers here, as I'm hovering above their name, their strength is center, made sense. I still have Gretzky and Messier. Then they have a weakness at goal, made sense. Fuhr's only 2 stars, and then at defense, which again made sense. As you could see, they had no really star defenseman. So let's just hop right into this, and I guess I will see you guys right at opening night. Okay, guys, so in case you were wondering about the Hall of Fame, Clark Gillis got in, Marcel Dionne got in, Rick Middleton got in, and John Tonelli got in. And then there's a quick little trade there between Ottawa and Buffalo, and then another quick one between Florida and Calgary, where Jean Casey was moved. He started for the Minnesota North Stars for a few years. So let's look at the power rankings here of the NHL of the teams. So apparently Edmonton is the best team. Alright, if you say so. Florida, look at this. They have all their positions are weakness, and they're win now with Tony Esposito. Alright, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was good a couple years ago, and now look, they have almost all strengths, and they're in rebuild mode. What is with this game? It's like all the orders were reversed. Maybe it is. I don't know. Well, maybe it is because it's acting funny. Well, I wouldn't go by that because I'm pretty sure Edmonton is not the best team in the NHL. They don't have any top prospects, I believe. As far as I know, they don't. Yeah, so these are the best prospects in the NHL, headed by Jarome Iginla. But yeah, I don't think they don't really have many good prospects as I recall. But anyway, let's get to the trade deadline now, and then we'll see how the team's doing. Okay, guys, so here we are at the trade deadline. I was clearly wrong. Edmonton is 5th in the league. Vancouver is 1st. Let's see here. Florida is dead last with their win now. That's funny. Bruins are 7th. Calgary is 12th. Pittsburgh's 13th, so they're balanced. And then, so Buffalo, it's possible Buffalo or Toronto maybe takes the cup this year. New Jersey's up there as well. In the divisions, Edmonton is 2nd. They are 7 points behind Vancouver. And then in the scoring title, it's a tight battle here between Gretzky and Lemieux. And then Matt Sundin is coming behind them, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so goals Lemieux leads, assists Gretzky leads, and he leads in points by just 4. So apparently Sundin's on the Canucks. With 3-star talent, he's 3rd in the league in scoring. And then 2nd in power play goals. Look at this. So 31 for Lemieux, 30 for Sundin, 29 for Gretzky, 28 for Jágr. So any of those 4 could win the power play goals title, even though that doesn't really matter. Although it does explain where Lemieux and Gretzky are getting all their goals from. So Gretzky's 5th in even strength goals, and obviously he's 1st in assists. Lemieux's 7th in assists. So if he could pit that up, he could be beating Lemieux here. And same with Gretzky in goals, although not to the same extent. And then goalie leaders, I don't think Grant Fuhr is among any of them. Yeah, so, no, so he's 3rd in wins, I guess made sense. He's not up there in losses. OT losses, no. Goals against, no, not up there. Goals against average, he's also not up there. Minutes played, yeah, he's down here. So 3,004 so far. Actually, let's just quickly look at him. Yeah, so so this year he's got 50 games played, 33 wins, 13 losses, 6 shootout losses. Let's see here, 2.42 goals against average and .911 save percentage. Compare that to the year before, where he played 36 games, 16 wins, 16 losses, 1 OT loss, 3.13 goals against average and .896 save percentage. So he's actually playing pretty well. And yeah, so hoping that he can continue that as we head into the playoffs. Okay, guys, here we are at the playoffs. Edmonton finished 5th in the league. Just see if I look here. For some reason, it says that Toronto had less points than Edmonton, and yet Edmonton's behind them in the standings. So Edmonton is tied for 3rd, behind Buffalo and Vancouver. Florida finished dead last, and yeah, so that's that. In the division, Edmonton is still 2nd by a mile, 9 points ahead of Calgary, but they're also 15 points behind Vancouver. Let's go to stats here. Gretzky lost the scoring title to Lemieux. Lemieux picked it up and beat him by like 8 points or something like that. So Robitaille passed Smallwood goals, 71. Assists, Turgeon led, just 3 ahead of Gretzky. And then Lemieux is not far behind there. And then there's the return of Paul Coffey, 40 points in 48 games. And then in points, we got Lemieux with 145, Gretzky with 132. So yeah, he really trailed off there, 13 behind. And those are the rest of the stats if you care to look at them. And then goalie leaders, let's see if anyone passed anyone else. No, Haschett's tied, or I guess at this point he owns the wins record because it's 48, but neither Holtby or Brodeur have said it yet. Save percentage, Edmonton's backup Duffus is 2nd, but they only played 11 games, so I wouldn't put too much stock into that. He also led in goals against average for some reason. So apparently in the short time he played better than Fuhr, who's 8th on the list. Anyway, so let's now look at who they're facing in the playoffs. I'll have to do one more day. And I should, yep. Edmonton is facing LA. What else is new? They faced LA like every single year almost. Either Edmonton or either LA or Calgary. Vancouver's taking on St. Louis. I'm glad they're not taking on Vancouver. Vancouver will be tough to beat We got Philly versus Buffalo. We got Islanders versus Rangers, so that'll be an interesting matchup. Montreal versus Boston, that'll be interesting too. Pittsburgh versus New Jersey. St. Louis versus Vancouver. Colorado versus Toronto. LA versus Edmonton. And Calgary versus Detroit. So I think Edmonton takes their series. Calgary takes theirs. Toronto takes theirs. Vancouver takes theirs. Pittsburgh takes theirs, I think by the slimmest of margins. I think Montreal takes theirs. The Rangers take theirs. And Buffalo takes theirs. See if I am right. I will just I'll sim to next week, and yeah. Okay, guys, so I have to nominate a dude to join the rest of the group for the Hall of Fame. I'm going to choose Kent Nielsen, if anyone was interested in that. The rest of the guys, Larry Robinson will probably get in. Bernie Federko, I think, should get in anyway. Billy Smith, and then Kent Nielsen. That's who I'm going to vote for when the time comes. Let's look at who made it to the second round. So, bingo was the same. Edmonton made it. Calgary made it. Toronto beat their series. St. Louis somehow took out Vancouver. Boston took out Montreal. Rangers took out Islanders, and then Pittsburgh took out the Devils, and then Buffalo took out Philly. So the only series I were wrong about was Vancouver's and Boston's. So Edmonton is taking on Calgary. Again, what else is new? St. Louis is taking on Toronto. Boston's taking on New York, and Buffalo is taking on Pittsburgh. I think. All right. So I think Edmonton will take their series. Toronto will take theirs. I'll take the Rangers over the Bruins, and then Buffalo I think will take out Pittsburgh. So I think all the teams on the right side here will end up being victorious. So let's just sim. Okay, guys, we are back. Edmonton took out Calgary in 5 games, so they're off to the conference finals. Toronto took out the Blues in 5 games, so I was right about those 2 series. And then I was right about the top one here. Sabres took out Pittsburgh in 6. Unfortunately, the Bruins took out the Rangers in 6 as well. So I was right about 3 of the 4 series. So Boston took on Buffalo. I think Buffalo will win, and I think Edmonton will beat Toronto. So let's continue simming. Okay, so we are at the Stanley Cup final here, guys, and this is the NHL's dream matchup. Boston takes out Buffalo in 6 games, and then Toronto takes out Edmonton in 7. We got the Leafs versus the Bruins. Leafs up 1-0. So let's go to, I think it's next week. And there you guys have it. The Bruins have won the Stanley Cup somehow, in some way. So in other news, in 1996-97, the Jets relocate to Arizona and change their name to Phoenix. The All-Stars for the season, Gretzky is on the first team, and no one else from the Oilers makes it. Glenn Sather gets the Jack Adams Award winner. He left to Vancouver, though, so Gretzky gets the Ted Lindsay. Mark Messier gets the Bill Masterton. Our Ross Trophy goes to Lemieux. Plus-minus award also goes to Lemieux. Any other news here for the Oilers? Oilers get the Hart Trophy. The Oilers coach was also nominated for the Jack Adams, but he lost to Sather, of course. All right, so that is 1 year gone. I'm gonna try to go until Gretzky retires, but I guess we shall see about that. We shall see. I will see you guys at opening night, and then we'll look at the updated roster. Okay, guys. Now this is something I never thought I would see. Marcus Naslund is being placed on waivers by the Maple Leafs. 3-star potential, 1.5-star talent. If you were wondering who got in the Hall of Fame, Kent Nielsen, Larry Robinson, Bernie Federko, I voted for all those 3. And then Wilf Payment. I voted for Billy Smith instead, but that's okay. This is some other news. Edmonton makes a swap. They get rid of Esa Tikkanen. And then for these guys. So they're trying to get younger here a little bit. I say it's all right. Craig Billington and Tommy Salo just got traded. So got some big news there on the trade market. So let's look at the updated Edmonton roster. We know they lost Esa Tikkanen. Did they lose anyone else? Well, Messier got worse. Gretzky's the same. There's still Butch Berger there. Tikkanen's gone. Buku Boom is still there. Grant Fuhr is still there, although he's gotten even worse in the offseason. Glenn Anderson has gotten worse as well. So almost everyone's gotten worse. They've lost some key players along the way. Paul Coffey, Craig MacTavish, Andy Moog, and Esa Tikkanen. But most of the core is still here. Gretzky, Messier, Butch Berger, Buku Boom, Fuhr, and Glenn Anderson. This is not really a contending team, I would say. They actually changed their logo and their colors. Oh, and then apparently Gretzky and Messier are unhappy. Both of them because they have a major role. So let's get to the trade deadline, and then we'll do an update. Okay, guys, so we are at the trade deadline. And Edmonton is 22nd in the lead now. They are still win now, and their only strength is center. They're 25, 38, and 3 with 55 points. And they're pretty well out of a playoff spot, like 9 points out. And then in their division, they are all the way down to 5th behind Colorado, Vancouver, LA, and Calgary. Somehow Calgary is still good, like 96 points, tied with Detroit for first in the league. And so, somehow Pittsburgh's still good as well, 90 points. So, and the New Jersey's rising too, as they do in real life. And then let's look at the stats here. Gretzky was among the leaders, but he's definitely not first. He needs to load first. Goals, he is nowhere to be found on the list. Assists, he's 3rd. And points, he is 10th with 82 points. That's still pretty good, especially since he's probably the oldest person among the leaders. Yes, he is, by 4 years. So that's pretty impressive. Mark Messier leads in shorthanded goals. Those are the rest of the stats, should you care to look at them. These are the goalie stats quickly. Fuhr is 7th in losses, so that's the first time he's been among the league leaders in losses. And those are the rest of the goalie stats. I am going to head to the playoffs here, and then I will see you there, and we'll see who wins the cup, but it's probably not going to be Edmonton. Okay, guys, so here we are. I was right. Edmonton is still 23rd in the league with a 27, 44, and 3 record for 62 points. Florida is dead last once again, and yet their outlook is still win now for some reason. Detroit's first, Calgary's 3rd, and New Jersey's 2nd, and then Pittsburgh's 4th. So those 4 teams didn't change. Somehow with Pittsburgh only having a strength at center and then a weakness at goal. And then Calgary doesn't look too much better, but apparently there aren't lots of teams here with lots of strengths and lots of weaknesses. It appears to be a lot more spaced out. And so let's go to the stats here. Gretzky is, as far as I recall, still top 10 in points, but he's not going to win like the Hart Trophy or anything like that. He is tied for 10th in points with Vincent Damphouse of the Maple Leafs. And then Steve Yzerman tied with Mario Lemieux for first in points. And then these are the rest of the player stats, should you care. Mark Messier is still first in shorthanded goals, tied with, Jeff Norton? Yeah, Jeff Norton and Corey Stillman. So, let's go to goalie leaders. You can look at that, again, should you care. And Fuhr still sits in losses. And, no other big news there. And then also one more thing was, see the playoff tree. Got New Jersey versus New York, Philly versus Pittsburgh, Hartford versus New York, Montreal versus Boston, Dallas versus Detroit, Vancouver versus Calgary, St. Louis versus Chicago, and Toronto versus LA. Hey, where's Edmonton there? No, Edmonton should be in Toronto's spot. No, what happened? Anyway, so I think New Jersey takes theirs series, Pittsburgh takes theirs, Rangers take theirs, Montreal takes theirs, Detroit takes theirs, Calgary takes theirs, St. Louis takes theirs, and then Toronto wins theirs. So let's see how many of these I am actually correct about. So we are at the second round. The Islanders won their series. I was wrong. Pittsburgh won theirs. I was right. Rangers won theirs. I was right. Bruins won theirs. I was wrong. Detroit won theirs. I was right. Vancouver won theirs. I'm glad I was wrong. Chicago won theirs. I was wrong, I think. And then LA won theirs. So I was only right for, what was it, 3 of them? Yeah, I didn't do too well on this round. But anyway, we got the Islanders taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will probably win. Boston taking on New York. New York will probably win. Vancouver taking on Detroit. Probably Detroit. And then LA is taking on Chicago. I'll go with Chicago. So let's see how many of those I got right. Also, if you cared to see the Hall of Fame class, I will be voting for Charlie Simmer. He's like the only decent candidate on here. Dennis Potvin will get my vote. Billy Smith will get my vote. And then Charlie Simmer will get my vote. There's no one else on the list. It's kind of getting a little weak. Possibly Rod Ramage or Pitt Martin, but probably not. So let's go to the standings. So all the teams I chose are up 1-0. So that's good. So I'll just go until the end of the round. Okay, guys, so all the series are over. Pittsburgh won theirs, I was right. Rangers won theirs, I was right. Vancouver won theirs, I was wrong. And then LA took theirs, I was wrong. So I went 2 for 4. Although, for the most part, I'm glad I did. I don't really like Detroit or Chicago when I love Vancouver. So Rangers taking on Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will take it. And Vancouver taking on LA. I think Vancouver will take it. Slight edge. And same with Pittsburgh. I think both series will be close. Okay, guys, so Rangers took their series and LA took theirs, unfortunately. So I was wrong about both series. Rangers are up 1-0. I do think they will finish it, and I was right about both of them being close, though. LA took theirs all the way to Game 7, and then Rangers took theirs to 6. So let's see who wins the Stanley Cup. Okay, guys, so as you can see, Rangers took their series 4-1, taking out LA very easily and winning their second cup in, I think it's 4 years. So as they won, I think it was in 1995, so 2 cups in 3 years. And let's check to see who won the awards now. Again, congrats to them. No team or no players from the Oilers even got there. Gretzky didn't make the second team. It was Yzerman and Lemieux. Jack Adams Award went to the coach of the Red Wings, Bob Barry. Lemieux takes to Ted Lindsay. Leadership Award goes to Brett Hall. Dave Andreychuk takes to Bill Masterton. The Lady Byng Trophy goes to Petri Numminen. Red Wings goalie Manny Fernandez gets the Jennings. Glenn Healy gets the Saving Grace Award. Doug Gilmour gets the Plus Minus Award. Art Ross Trophy goes to Yzerman. I guess he had more goals than Lemieux. Well, yeah, but Brett Hall got the Rocket Richard. Selke goes to Kevin Adams. Gem of the Year goes to Detroit's Jim Delavano, so apparently they have the best management team. Calder Trophy also goes to Manny Merningz. Nicholas Lidstrom gets the Norris Trophy. He's a part of Vancouver. So let's see, 76 points in 75 games. You definitely deserve it. Manny Merningz also gets the Vezina, so he gets the Vezina, the Calder, and the Jennings. Pretty good rookie season. Conn Smythe goes to Brian Leetch, and then Mario Lemieux gets the Hart. So Mario Lemieux is doing quite well, apparently, just stacking up the awards, possibly even more in real life, but he's not affected by injuries nearly as much in real life. Anyway, let's go to the last day here quickly. Let's go to the last day. And then I will go to, I'd like to be able to go to, like, the draft and see if, like, Edmonton gets anyone good. I mean, their pit's going to be pretty high. So, yeah. Okay, the historical notes for this year are the Whalers went to Carolina and then changed their name to the Hurricanes. Beachman will be joining the NHL this year. Franson, Kunitz, Marlowe, Thornton, Scott Gomez, Raycroft, Malhotra, Lesavier, and Richard. So those the young up-and-comers coming to the NHL. And let's just go to opening night. Okay, so Vancouver also changed their look. I just realized they changed their logo. And then if you're wondering who got in the Hall of Fame, Charlie Simmer, Dennis Potvin, who is it? Paul Reinhardt, and then Dennis Merrick. So I think Billy Smith is the only one that still has not gotten in, like someone that I think should get in. But yeah, so that's pretty good. And then I'm going to look at Edmonton now. As you can see, the NHL has definitely expanded since the start of the series. Let's see here. So the team looks like exactly the same as last year's team. Like legit, the exact same. It's just that everyone got a year older, which is unfortunate for them. Gretzky, 92 points in 69 games last year, so I guess he got injured. Still 5-star though, and then Messier is 3-star now, 61 points in 82 games last year. So yeah, it's a low talent team, with the exception of Gretzky and Messier. But yeah, so it appears, if I look at their depth chart, do they have any good prospects? Oh yeah, they got Patrick Marleau out of the draft. Look at this. We probably won't even see him mature though. I mean, if he's like at we won't see him mature. But they did get him, which is interesting. Let's just head straight to the trade deadline here, and then we'll do an update. Okay, guys. So unfortunately, Edmonton is not doing much better, finishing 21st in the lead so far. We have a new last place team, Ottawa. I don't know why both Ottawa and Florida are still win now teams, but I've gotten over it. Vancouver was like dead last through the first like 20 games or so, but after changing their look, they're now first in the league, although Detroit and Buffalo are right behind them. Buffalo also changed their look. Pittsburgh is still sits. I marvel at their that they continue to dominate. By the way, it seems that we have 4 dominating players in the league right now. Steve Yzerman, Brett Hull, Wayne Gretzky, and Mario Lemieux. Those 4 seem to be the best players in the league, as those 4, I think, are the top 4 in scoring. And then Brett Hull is like the best goal scorer in the league. So these are the rest of the standings. And then I'll go to division now. Edmonton is sits, ahead of Colorado by 6 points, and behind Anaheim and LA by 9. And then meanwhile, the stats for the players. Gretzky, I believe, is 4th in scoring right now. Yes, he is. 97 points, only 3 behind Hall and Lemieux. However, it seems Yzerman's just dominating, 16 points ahead. Nicklas Lidstrom of the Canucks leads in assists. They also have Peter Forsberg, and I'm starting to understand why they're so good. Gretzky actually leads in power play goals, surprisingly. And then in regular goals, Gretzky is 2nd. So he's been scoring a lot more goals this year. He's kind of been having a revival year of sorts. Last year he got 97 points in total, and then this year he's at 92 points at the trade deadline. So yeah, he's doing much better. It's almost a guarantee he'll get to 100 points this year, which is awesome for his career totals. And then if you want to look at goalie stats, I will quickly bring them up. And then here you go. You can quickly pause the video or something if you'd like. And I'm going to go to the playoffs. Okay, guys, so it appears we have actually a 5th player to join that list, Nicklas Lidstrom, who is being nominated for the Norris Trophy, might lead the league in assists still. He was at the trade deadline anyway. But in other news, Edmonton dropped 1 place to 22nd. In total, they have a 27, 46, and 4 record for just 59 points. Ottawa dead last with 38. And Vancouver first with 110. Again, can't understand why they're first when you look at this insane team they have. They also have Martin Brodeur. Did they literally just assemble like a cast of legends? Look at this. Martin Brodeur and Dominik Hasek in goal. Seriously, look at that. That's not even fair. Nicklas Lidstrom, Sergei Zubov, Peter Forsberg, Sergei Gonchar, Matt Sundin. Almost all those guys are Hall of Famers, with the exception of Sergei Gonchar. And a lot of people think he should be in. So, I don't and Peter Forsberg still has room to grow, and then Nicklas Lidstrom can grow like 1 more star. So yeah, I can understand. It's like a dream roster. Like, if they don't win the cup this year, I would be shocked. Anyway, let's go to the playoff tree here. We got Montreal taking on Buffalo, Islanders taking on the Devils. They also changed their look to Islanders. Carolina taking on Pittsburgh, Boston taking on the Rangers. They seem to be old friends now. St. Louis taking on Vancouver, Anaheim taking on Detroit. I believe Anaheim changed their look as well. Dallas taking on Toronto, and Calgary taking on Chicago. I think Buffalo wins. I think the Devils win. I think Pittsburgh wins. I think the Rangers win. I think Vancouver wins. I think Detroit wins. I think Toronto wins. And I think Calgary wins. So all the teams on this right side except Calgary. So I guess that'll be easier to remember. Let's see how many of these I get right. Guys, quick interruption, just so you know. For these are the cast lists for who I want to nominate. And there's literally no one there I want to nominate. They are just, I don't know why they're even here. Anyway, so I will be voting for Mark Howe, Anton Stastny, and Billy Smith. That's who I will be voting for. And I need to continue now just to finish this round. Okay, guys, so we have gotten to the second round now. Montreal beat Buffalo, I was wrong. Devils sweep Islanders, I was right. Pittsburgh beats Carolina, I was right. Boston beats New York, I was wrong. St. Louis somehow takes on the Dreamcast in 7 games, I was wrong. Anaheim takes on Detroit and wins, I was wrong. Maple Leafs take on Dallas, I was right. And Calgary defeats Chicago in 7, I was right about that. And then all the series have a team up 2-0 with the exception of this one. They're tied 1-1. Calgary's up 2-0 on Anaheim, Pittsburgh's up 2-0 on Boston, and New Jersey's up 2-0 on Montreal. So let's go to the next round. Guys, so we are at the next round. The Devils take their series. I was right. Pittsburgh's taking on, defeated Boston. I was right. St. Louis took on Toronto. I think I was wrong. And Anaheim took out Calgary. I was wrong. So Pittsburgh is facing New Jersey. I think New Jersey will take this slightly. And then St. Louis is taking on Anaheim, which I believe St. Louis will win. Okay, guys, so I was right about both teams. Both series went all the way to 7 games. Oh, no, I wasn't right about the first one. Both series went to 7 games. New Jersey won theirs and St. Louis won theirs. Or Pittsburgh won theirs, sorry. And so I believe it'll be Pittsburgh for the championship, although I wouldn't mind St. Louis winning. So I'm kind of good either way. Okay, guys, and here we have your Stanley Cup champions for 1998. We got the Pittsburgh Penguins defeating St. Louis in 5 games. So congrats to them. Let's check the awards. The All-Stars for this year, Gretzky made the 2nd team. And then Sergei Zubov made that team. Nicholas Lidstrom made that team. Brian Sutter got the Jack Adams for Buffalo. Steve Yzerman gets the Ted Lindsay. Alan McInnes gets the Mark Messier Leadership Award. Bill Masterton goes to Ray Ferraro. Lady Bing goes to Brian Leach. Martin Brodeur gets the Jennings. Martin Brodeur gets the Saving Grace Award. Lidstrom gets the Plus Minus Award, so the Canucks were kind of dominating the awards. Yzerman gets the Art Ross Trophy. Gretzky brings home the Rocket Richard. So congrats to him. Selke goes to Kevin Adams. The Buffalo Sabres GM gets the GM of the year, so apparently now Buffalo's the management team. Olli Jokinen gets the Calder. Lidstrom takes home the Norris Trophy. Van Briesbroek gets the Vezina Trophy. Lemieux gets the Conn Smythe Trophy, and then Yzerman gets the Hart. So that's good for them. I'm just going to sim to the last day here, and then I'm going to go straight to opening night, and then we'll check out the Oilers roster. Okay, quickly the historical notes for this year. The Predators have joined the NHL. We got Craig Anderson, Martin Havlat, Danny Heatley, Ryan Miller, Nicholas Kronwall, the Sedin Twins, and Henrik Zetterberg joining the NHL. So we got some new stars, and then the NHL has also adjusted its playoff format. The number 1 team in each division and the remaining top 5s in each conference make the playoffs. The division winners are seeded 1-3, and the remaining teams 4-8 by regular season points. In the conference quarterfinals, 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, etc. Winners play in the conference I don't understand any of that. It's all best of 7. Apparently, it wasn't before. Anyway, so I am actually at July 1st. So I'm going to go straight to the opening night. Okay, guys. So a massive trade went down. Doug Gilmour went to the Vancouver Canucks. He's 3 stars, 86 points last year, and then for some reason they gave up Chris Pronger, who has way more potential, but I guess Vancouver's going for it. So St. Louis gets Chris Pronger back. They had him in real life, I believe. Yeah, they did. And then in the Hall of Fame, we got Mark Howe, we got Anton Stastny, we got Billy Smith, and then we got Pierre Lacroix. So finally Billy Smith, this is Bobby Smith, not Billy Smith. Okay, well, Bobby Smith got in, unfortunately, I guess. So, Anton Stastny and Mark Howe I both voted for, so maybe Billy Smith will get in next year, but it doesn't really matter. So, Gretzky, whenever he retires, I think I'm just going to go until he retires. It can be a longer video, it doesn't really matter. But now I'm going to go to the, actually, I have to check the Oilers roster first, see who they gave up in the expansion draft as well to Nashville. Let's see. Well, Marleau is joining the NHL this year, 1 star, so he's high in potential, so maybe, I wonder how fast he'll grow into that. It seems like they gave up, like, Kevin Miller's right there. I don't know who Grant Fury just went down. He's just a 1 star now? Oh, great. Well, Gretzky's still 5-star ability and talent, and he's got 1 more year left on his contract, and both he and Messi are 37. Yeah, both of them are unhappy because they have major roles, I guess. Yeah. So, anyway, let's go to the trade deadline. Okay, guys, and a quick trade I wanted to mention. Nicklas Backstrom, not the one from Washington, the goalie, got traded, and then John LeClaire is also involved. So that's the only major trade from the trade deadline, and then Nicklas Lidstrom also has 500 assists. So let's go to the standings now. In the league, Edmonton is 23rd. They always seem to be right around that mark. And then they switched GMs to Don Maloney. They got 23, 36, and 3 record for 54 points. Montreal's tops in the league. Calgary is still up here. I don't understand how that's possible. Like, all of their core players must be, like, so old, besides, like, Brett Hall. Yeah, so Brett Hall's 30. Oh, no, even Brett Hall's 34. Al McInnes is 35. Joe Nenweek is 32. Yeah, so their core players are getting older. But they probably do have a couple more years of contention left in them, and they're definitely better than Edmonton. I just don't think, like, first overall good. Vancouver is now 7th, and then Carolina's 3rd. Los Angeles, who changed their look, is 4th. And then dead last is Florida again, so Florida and Ottawa, and then Nashville are battling for last place. All of them have win now, just saying that that's messed up in the division. The divisions were changed a little bit, so most of them have 5 teams, and then half of them have 5 teams, the other half have 4. Edmonton's dead last in their 4-team Northwest division, with Calgary, and Vancouver, and Colorado. And so, yeah, they're kind of having some issues over there. In stats, Gretzky, I believe, is still top 10 in scoring, which is impressing me because he's probably by far the oldest one. No, he's 4th, so he's 38. I mean, respect to Brett Hall, too, he's 34. And then Lemieux has to be getting up there in age as well. Sorry, I have to get back to stats. Yeah, there you go. Lemieux's 33. So, and then Paul Correa is the only young person I'm on here. Turgeon's 29. Again, none of these players are like old by life standards, but by hockey standards they are. And then Eric Messier on the Oilers is leading in shorthanded goals. And then these are the up in assists. Gretzky's up in assists. Dogs! Gretzky is tied with Paul Correa for first in assists. And, yeah, that's all. I'm going to go to the Stanley Cup playoffs now. Okay, guys, so Edmonton finished 23rd in the league with a 28, 42, and 3 record for 65 points. Montreal's first, Vancouver vaulted up to 2nd, LA's 3rd, Pittsburgh's 4th, and Chicago's 5th. And then, so Calgary fell down to 7th. And then looking at the divisions, Edmonton is still dead last in the division by 17 points. Next to Colorado, and then Colorado's 18 points behind Calgary. So it's really Vancouver versus Calgary. So those are the rest of the standings if you care to look at them. Player stats, Gretzky vaulted, I think, up to like 5th in scoring. Or, no, not vaulted, I guess he fell. To 5th in scoring. Yeah, 5th in scoring, 99 points, 1 off. But matches his jersey number anyway, which is cool. First in goals is Lemieux. First in assists is Gretzky, tied with Lemieux. So Lemieux got first in points. I believe it's Lemieux, Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic for the Hart Trophy. So Joe Sakic's 9th in points. I guess his team's not that good if he only has 84 points and yet still makes it. Anyway, so those are the rest of the stats. Eric Messier still finished first in shorthanded goals. And yeah, let's go one more day here, and then we'll see the playoff tree. Yeah, so now it looks more like it does in real life here. So Vancouver's taking on San Jose, Detroit's taking on LA, Chicago's taking on Colorado, and Anaheim's taking on Calgary. And then Tampa Bay's taking on Montreal, New York's taking on Pittsburgh, Philly's taking on Carolina, and the other New York, the Islanders team, is taking on the Devils. So let's see who wins that. Guys, quickly, I realized that I forgot my predictions. It's a little late now, but what I'm trying to do here is just tell you who I'm nominating for the Hall of Fame. Obviously, I'm doing Billy Smith. I'll also vote for Trottier, again, Billy Smith. And then I think I think I'll go Dave Taylor, and then I'll go Kevin Lau. So, yeah, I just quickly interrupted for that, but we're not done the first round yet, so let's get into that. Okay, guys, so we have moved on to the second round. So Sharks took out Vancouver, LA took out Detroit, Chicago took out Colorado, and Anaheim took out Calgary. So LA is up 1-0 on San Jose, and Anaheim is up 1-0 on Chicago. And then Montreal took out Tampa Bay in 6, Pittsburgh took out New York in 5, Carolina took out Philly in 7, and then the Islanders swept New Jersey. And then Montreal and Pittsburgh are up 1-0 on their respective opponents. Okay, guys, so we are moving on to the conference finals here. Anaheim is taking on LA after dismantling Chicago in a sweep, and LA taking out San Jose in 5. Pittsburgh is defeated Carolina in 5. And Montreal took out the Islanders in 7 in not a big upset. So I think Montreal will beat Pittsburgh in 6 games at least, and then LA will probably take out Anaheim for the cup. And so it'd kind of be nice to have one of those two teams win, but having Pittsburgh win would be fun too. Again, just because. And so let's just see who gets there. Okay, guys, we have the cup final here. Anaheim took out LA in 5, and Pittsburgh took out Montreal in 6. So we got Pittsburgh versus Anaheim. I'm wondering if Pittsburgh can win the cup or if Anaheim can take their first cup in franchise history at the time. Again, they win one 8 years later in the game, but obviously they don't know that. So I think Pittsburgh will win again, but let's see what happens. Okay, guys, so I was wrong. Anaheim takes out Pittsburgh in 6 games to win the first Stanley Cup in franchise history. So congrats to them. Let's look at the awards. The All-Stars for this year don't have an Oiler in them. Ken Hitchcock gets the Jack Adams. Ted Lindsay goes to Lemieux. Scott Stevens gets the Mark Messier Leadership Award. Luke Robitaille gets the Bill Masterton. Brad Richards gets the Lady Byng. The Jennings Trophy goes to Patrick Waugh. The Saving Grace Award goes to Mike Richter. Darcy Tucker gets the Plus Minus Award. Mario Lemieux gets the Art Ross Trophy. Mario Lemieux also gets the Rocket Richard. So they get Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, Rocket Richard, and the Hart Trophy. So Conn Smythe goes to Paul Correa. Patrick Roy gets the Vezina. Nicholas Lidstrom gets the Norris. Scott Gomez gets the Calder. And then Serge Savard gets the Canadiens to success, so he gets GM of the Year. Just quickly let me delete my messages. And let's see here. I wonder if Gretzky's going to retire. Great, get that. But we shall see. Alright, so for the historical notes for the 99-2000 year, we got Atlanta joining the NHL, eventually to become Winnipeg. We got Mike Camilleri, Marian Gaborik, Henrik Lundqvist, Mike Smith, Patrick Sharp, Justin Williams, and Rick DiPietro joining the NHL. Let's go to opening night. Okay, guys, so if you were wondering who got in the Hall of Fame, finally Billy Smith got in. Brian Trottier, Dave Taylor, and Max Naslund. So I'm pretty happy with those 4 players getting in. Let's check the Oilers roster for this year. The NHL continuously gets bigger and bigger, but let's see. Gretzky is actually declined by half a star, finally, as he gets a 38. Messier and everyone else on the team is declining a lot more rapidly. Patrick Marleau they got in the draft, and then also they got Danny Heatley, I guess, in last year's draft. So they're getting some young stars here, and I guess Danny Heatley and Patrick Marleau will eventually replace Gretzky and Messi. I mean, Messi already needs replacing, but Gretzky for the time being doesn't. But he'll probably, rapidly next year, he'll probably start to decline. And, we're coming into, this year he retires, with the Rangers. So we'll see how long he stays. He has one more year on his contract with getting paid $2.7 million. So we'll see if he continues to stick around after that. I mean, I'm wondering if he gets to 40 or something like that, and what his total career totals are going to look like. So I'm kind of excited to see that, but we'll see it when we see it. So let's go to the trade deadline. Dots!
No one's there.
Yeah, I know, because Mommy and Daddy aren't going to be home or Mommy and Peyton won't be home for another couple hours. Quiet! Okay, guys, so here we are at the standings for the league. Edmonton is 23rd. Nashville, Atlanta, and Colorado, and Pittsburgh and Ottawa, surprisingly, are the only teams below them. So I guess Pittsburgh's finally started to fall off the cliff here after winning the Cup last year. Edmonton's record is 26-34-3 for 59 points. And then last I looked, Gretzky was still in the top 20 or so, something like that, in points, which is pretty impressive given his age. He's still one of the best players in the league. Gretzky he's actually sixth in the league in scoring. His talent and potential both went down to 4 stars, but he's definitely still up there. 77 points in 62 games this year, so he's doing quite well. And then so those are the teams ahead. Assists, Brian Lynch is first. Daniel Briere is first in goals, and then those are the rest of the stats. In goal, we got these stats. So Tim Thomas is first in wins, and then these are the rest of the stats, should you care. Anyway, I'm going to go to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Grace, seriously, you can hear Lottie calling for the bathroom. I'm recording, and you're just going to sit there? No, I'm done now.
Oh.
No, I'm not done completely, but I'm on a break. Couldn't have, let the dog out? Okay, guys, so we are... at the end of the year, Edmonton is still 23rd with a 30-41-3 record, 68 points. Atlanta is dead last. Pittsburgh's just below them, so they finally fell off. Montreal is still first. Carolina has emerged as a new dominant force. Anaheim has recently done so as well, and Vancouver relatively recently has done so. And along with San Jose, New York's kind of old news a little bit. And then these are the rest of the teams. In division, Edmonton is third in their division. Colorado is below them by 9 points, and they are behind Calgary by 7. Calgary finally started to fall off, and Vancouver's the only one in this division with a winning record, so the Northwest Division is not a good division. Anyway, let's look at the stats. I believe Gretzky's still top 10, I believe. Sits 88 points in 74 games this year. I guess he got injured, so that's really good. First is Daniel Briere. He's a new dominant force, also leading in goals. Nicklas Lidstrom leads in assists this year, and then the rest of the stats, here they are. In goal, we got... It takes a while to load on my computer. These are the goalie stats. Martin Brodeur and Patrick Roy seem to be the best goalies in the league. But let's continue here let's sim a day or two here to the playoffs. And then I'll give you the playoff tree. So the playoff tree for this year, we got LA taking on Anaheim, Chicago taking on Vancouver, Dallas taking on Detroit, Phoenix taking on San Jose, Washington taking on Montreal, Buffalo taking on Carolina, Boston taking on New York, Toronto taking on Philly. So I think Anaheim will take their series, Vancouver will take theirs, I believe Detroit will win theirs, San Jose will win theirs, Montreal will win theirs, Carolina will win theirs, the Rangers will win theirs, and Toronto will win Phillies. Is it just me, or does it feel like it's rigged so that the Rangers will face Boston? Seriously, that's happened 4 times in this video, like every year since we started. So I feel like it's rigged or something so that they'll face each other for some reason. Okay, guys, so we are at the start of the second round. Anaheim won their series, Chicago won theirs, Detroit won theirs, San Jose won theirs, Montreal won theirs, Carolina won theirs, Rangers won theirs, and Philly won theirs. So I seem to have like about a 500 record, although Vancouver's starting to gain a reputation as a bunch of chokers apparently because they just keep losing their series. Chicago will be taking on Anaheim. I think Anaheim will win. I think Detroit will beat San Jose. I think Montreal will take out Philly, and I think Carolina will take out New York. Let's see if I am right. Okay, quickly, guys, if you wanted to know who's in the Hall of Fame class for this year, this is the class. It's not very good, so I'm not going to nominate anyone to join these. But it's going to be Dino Cirelli, Neil Broten, Kevin Lau, and Ken Linesman, who I'll vote for this year. Okay, guys, so we are at the third round here. We got Chicago defeating Anaheim. We got Detroit taking out San Jose, so it'll be Chicago versus Detroit. Chicago's up 1-0, although I think Detroit will come back and win. Montreal is dismantled Philly in 5, and Carolina did the same to the Rangers. So it'll be Montreal versus Carolina, I think it's the two best teams out of the East. And Montreal's up 1-0. I think they will finish the job. So I do believe it'll be a Montreal versus Detroit Stanley Cup final. Okay, guys, so we are at the Stanley Cup final. I was correct. I forgot how big a rivalry Chicago and Detroit were at the time. It was actually one of the best rivalries in all of hockey before they switched conferences and Detroit moved to the East. So we got Montreal versus Detroit. I think Montreal will finally take the championship. They didn't win one in '93, so maybe they can win one in the year 2000. Okay, so as you guys can see, the new champions for the 1999-2000 season are the Montreal Canadiens. So that's awesome for them. Canadian team winning the cup. And then other news, Nicklas Lindstrom takes the Hart Trophy, 78 points in 82 games. The historical notes for this year, Columbus and Minnesota are joining the NHL. Not a great cast of new players coming in with the exception of Jason Spezza, Pekka Rinne, and Ilya Kovalchuk. So the All-Stars for this year, we got no Oilers, but those are the All-Stars. Patrick Roy gets the Vezina. Chris Chelios gets the Norris. Lindstrom was nominated, I think, and somehow didn't win, even though he won the Hart, but okay. Calder Trophy goes to Henrik Zetterberg. Tony Esposito gets the Jam of the Year. John Madden gets the Selke. Rocket Richard goes to Daniel Briere. Art Ross goes to Daniel Briere. Brendan Moore gets the Plus Minus Award. Jean-Sebastien Giroux gets the Saving Grace Award. Patrick Roy gets the Jennings Trophy. Eric Days gets the Lady Bane. Dennis Savard gets the Bill Masterton. Luc Robitaille gets the Mark Messier Leadership Award. Nicklas Lindstrom gets the Ted Lindsay. Jack Adams goes to John Tortorella. Stu Barnes gets the Conn Smythe. And then Lindstrom gets the Hart Trophy. I forgot to delete that. Alright, so let's go to the start of opening night, and we'll see how the team is looking. Okay, guys, so if you were wondering who got in the Hall of Fame, Dino Cirelli, Neil Broten, Kevin Lau, and Ken Linesman, the 4 players that I thought should be in, so that was obviously a successful thing in my opinion. So let's look at the team of Edmonton, and yeah, so with Columbus and Columbus and Minnesota joining this year, the NHL's just getting more packed. Let's look at the roster of Edmonton here. So Gretzky is still here, 39 years old. The second best player on the team now is Patrick Marleau, and and then they also got Vincent Leclavier. So they're definitely, and then Scott Hartnell as well. So this is actually this is looking like this could be a good future team. But it appears that Mark Messier has retired. So, and then also they got Garth Snow and net now. So it appears the only link to the 80s. Dynasty. It appears that the only link to the 80s Dynasty is now Gretzky. Everyone else has retired, with the exception of Kelly Butchberger, and if you want to count him, Eric Messier. So this is the team for this year. It's honestly looking better than the team from last year, with Marleau progressing, And then in terms of potential, this is actually looking like a team that could have a good future with Marleau, Heatley, Leclavier, and Hartnell leading it. So they're good. They're definitely going to be good on offense. I feel like pretty soon they're going to have to draft a D-man, otherwise they'll be in trouble eventually. But anyway, that's their problem, not mine. So I'm just going to go to the trade deadline. Okay, guys, so we got Wayne Gretzky here. He has 2,000 assists in his NHL career. It's not even counting his goals. So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that he beat his points record and probably his goals record and a bunch of other records. Hey, Peter Forsberg got traded to New Jersey for Kevin Adams for whatever reason. They look like the same player to me, so I don't really know who wins. Anyway, in the standings, Edmonton is doing better. Well, even though it doesn't really appear like it, they're 23rd, but they have more points. And in the division, they are 3rd, so, 4th. I guess Colorado passed them. They're 30 points ahead of Minnesota, so I'm pretty sure they're safe in terms of finishing dead last in the league and in their divisions. Pittsburgh moved up again somehow. Rangers are 1st, Montreal's 2nd, and Vancouver's 5th. And then, so these are the bottom teams. Anaheim, after a couple miracle runs, has really dropped. Same with Chicago, they've dropped too. Boston dropped, and then Florida moved up. Finally, they're starting to earn that win now status. And then Ottawa moved up as well. So let's just go see what happens, and we'll go all the way to the playoffs. Okay, guys, so here we are in the league, and somehow Edmonton is the 16th best team in the league. I'm not sure if it's if it's a division thing, and so they might not make the playoffs, but they are one of the top 16 teams in the league, so they have improved. Minnesota got 37 points, and Atlanta got 50. And so here are the bottom teams. Here are the top teams: Rangers, Canadiens, Sharks moved up, Blues, Carolina, Calgary, LA, Vancouver dropped. So those are the league. And in terms of division, Edmonton is 3rd. Vancouver and Calgary are the dominators. For some reason, Calgary is still up there. They had like one bad year, and then suddenly they're vaulting back up again. Anyway, in terms of stats, I don't know where Gretzky is. I haven't seen him on the leaderboard. I'm pretty sure it's like throughout the year. He is 3rd in assists, but he is not on the list in points, so he does not have 83 points at least. If you scroll down here, he's not. No, he doesn't even have 80 points guaranteed. So, not a point per game this year. Probably like the first year where he hasn't been a point per game, as I recall. Although Danny Heatley's up there in goals, 36. So good for him. Teemu Selanne wins that by a mile. Lidstrom is there. So Gretzky's 3rd in assists. He only got 16 goals this year, though. So 80 points. So he'd be like right after Nummelen, I think. Anyway, so this is the rest of the stats. Care to look at it. In terms of goal, this is what we have. Mark Brodeur seems to be the best goalie in the league. No, he leads in games played, minutes played, and then Jean-Sebastien Giroux has the most saves and the most losses. So I don't really know. I think Brodeur will probably just win the Vezina. He also has an excellent save percentage. But they don't count. Oh, they do count for that, but he is all the way down here. Anyway, so let's go. Let's sim like 2 more days, and then we'll see what the playoff tree is looking like. So here we go. We got Edmonton is in, facing San Jose. San Jose will probably use them as first-round fodder. Vancouver taking on St. Louis. I want to say Vancouver's going to win, but I don't think so. Anyway, St. Louis changed their look as well, I just noticed. Detroit has taken on Calgary. These two have been contenders like the entire time we've been doing this, almost. Like Calgary has, anyway. So I think Detroit will take them out. Dallas is taking on LA. I believe LA will win. Tampa Bay is taking on New York. I think the Rangers will win. Montreal will defeat Philly. Carolina will take out Pittsburgh, and then I think the Devils will take out Buffalo in 7. I think that's a really tight series. Okay, guys, so we are at the end. Luckily, I was wrong on quite a few things. Oilers beat San Jose in a miracle of miracles, 6 games. Vancouver finally managed to defeat some of their demons and take out the higher-rated St. Louis in 7. Detroit takes out Calgary in 5. I was right about that. And then Dallas takes out LA in 7. I was wrong. So Edmonton is taking on Dallas, and Vancouver's taking on Detroit. I think Detroit takes out Vancouver, and Dallas probably takes out Edmonton, even though I want the opposite to be true, again. Rangers took out Tampa Bay, I was right. Montreal took out Philly, I was right. Carolina took out Pittsburgh, I was right. And then I thought the Devils would take out Buffalo in a tight series, and I was right about that. So bingo was his name on this side. So I went 6 for 8. Not bad. Anyway, so I think Rangers will take out New Jersey. Montreal will take out Carolina slightly. Edmonton, and I already did over here. So let's see who continues in this playoffs. Okay, guys, so if you wanted to know who I am nominating for this year for the Hall of Fame, I think I'm going to do Thomas Steen. So I will vote for Yeri Curry, who retired when he was 40, and I guess I missed it, so that's why I didn't mention it. Peter Stastny will also get my vote, and Joe Mullen will also get my vote, and then I guess I'll do Brian Propp as well. He'll probably get in anyway. So those are the 4 I'll vote for, just in case you were curious. Actually, I'm going to do Mike Liat over Brian Propp, I think, because he was dominant over a short stretch of time, like consider the Nets' Ken Dryden. Anyway, so let's continue through these playoffs. Okay, guys, so I was half right and half wrong. The ideal combination for me happened. So in the East, Rangers and Montreal took out their opponents. In New Jersey was the only team to win a game against those 2 powerhouses. So we got the 2 best teams in the East Conference facing off. So we got, I think the Rangers are going to win. And then over here we got somehow the miracle run of both Vancouver and Edmonton. I think Edmonton's reign is kind of going to end here, and I think Vancouver's going to make it all the way to the Cup final and then probably lose. But yeah, let's kind of see what happens. Hey guys, so I was right on half the counts. Montreal ended up taking out the higher seed in New York, and then Vancouver swept Edmonton easily. So we will have Montreal versus Vancouver. So I'm obviously, you guys know me as a Canucks fan. Yeah, I'm obviously hoping Vancouver wins. Montreal probably will. They won last year, so they already have that cup experience and such. I'm a bit surprised Edmonton made it all the way to the conference finals this year. That's probably their last run of the series. I wouldn't be shocked if Gretzky retired after this year. But let's see what happens with the Stanley Cup Finals. And guys, I'm like so upset right now. Montreal took out Vancouver in 7 games. Vancouver can't win the cup. I mean, they destroyed their whole we're chokers thing because they literally were 1 win away from the cup. It's still upsetting. Well, congrats to Montreal for their 2nd cup win in a row. Anyway, so no team from Edmonton made any of the All-Star teams. Jack Adams winner ended up being Doug Carpenter of the Rangers. Vezina went to Patrick Roy. Nicklas Lidstrom got the Norris. Vincent Leclavier of the Oilers got the Calder Trophy, so apparently he did very well there. He is now a 2-star talent guy with 47 points last year, so congrats. Phil Esposito gets GM of the Year, Rangers GM, so now they're the best management team. Samuel Paljean gets the Selke, Teemu Selanne gets the Rocket Richard and the Ross. Brian Leetch gets the Plus Minus Award. We got Nicklas Backstrom as the Saving Grace Award winner. Patrick Roy gets the Jennings. Robert Lang gets the Lady Bane. Marilyn Lemieux gets the Bill Masterton. Joe Sakic, Mark Messier Award. Ted Lindsay goes to Joe Sakic. Nicklas Lidstrom gets the Conn Smythe Trophy for the losing effort. And then Joe Sakic gets the Hart. So let's go to next year and see if finally Gretzky retires or if he does not. I mean, I would have done, if I had known that it would take this long, I would have separated this into parts, but I'm not going to wait now so I can do 1 more year. We're going to have to do this all the way. Okay, guys, so the 2001-2002 historical notes, no teams added for once, but we got David Backes, Mark Giordano, Jimmy Howard, Yuri Hudler, Duncan Keith, Rick Nash, and Cam Ward, among others, joining the NHL this year. So we got a whole crop of new stars coming in. I wonder if any of them is property of the Oilers, but probably not because they made it to the conference final. Anyway, let's go to opening night. Okay, so guys, Yeri Curry got in the Hall. It's funny that he's getting into the Hockey Hall of Fame before Wayne Gretzky is even retired. Peter Stastny gets in as well. Thomas Steen, and then Brian Prupp. So not a bad year for Hall of Famers. And then 2 kind of really minor trades. Anyway, let's see what Edmonton is looking like for this year. And let's see here. Gretzky is still here, 3.5 stars, 40 years old. And he is unhappy about a major role still. Marleau is starting to become a star, same with Danny Heatley. Vincent Leclavier grew. The team's starting to get better, which is obviously good for them. And in terms of their future, they got an excellent future led by Marleau, Heatley, Leclavier, and then Scott Hartnell apparently fell or was demoted or something like that. In terms of depth charts, do they have any really... Yeah, Hartnell is a prospect now, and then they got a bunch of other prospects as well. Okay, so hopefully it'll only be 1 more year until Gretzky gets traded, or until he retires, because I don't know how much longer I can really make this video before it starts to become ridiculous. Anyway, let's stop talking and start simming. Okay, guys, so here we are. Vancouver's once again first in the league. Edmonton is 18th, so they are just outside of a playoff spot, and as you can see from the record, a slightly winning record, and their strengths and weaknesses, they are starting to grow a little bit, but they still need work in goal and D, although they're fine forward. And then those are the rest of the standings. In terms of division, Edmonton is 3rd, behind Calgary and Vancouver, who somehow, again, Calgary is still up there somehow. I don't understand it. But whatever, sometimes I don't understand the game either. So anyways, the stats for this year, Gretzky, I think, is up there in assists, but not much else in assists. Gretzky fell down a little bit, 42 assists. He only has 55 points in 70 games this year, but he is 41 years old now. So that's kind of getting acceptable a little bit. Anyway, so these are the rest of the stats. And then now we will move on to goalie leaders. Edmonton's not going to have any goalie leaders, but so these are quickly the goalie leaders. Martin Brodeur seems to once again be the top goalie in the league. So if he keeps going like this, he'll probably get the Vezina. Anyway, so let's go straight to the playoffs. Okay, guys, so we are at the end of the year. Edmonton just finishes out of a playoff spot by, 1 win, which kind of upsetting a little bit. If they had won 1 more, I think they beat St. Louis, considering St. Louis had 10 OT losses. Anyway, so dead last in the league, Atlanta, Minnesota, Columbus, the 3 latest expansion teams. Washington's down there as well with Nashville. And then we got Vancouver tops in the league again. Maybe this year they can finally take home the cup. The only team in the league to conquer 100 points. And then in terms of stats, it's taking a while to load. We got Lemieux with the Art Ross Trophy. Lidstrom 8th, so he's probably going to take the Norris again, as he seems to do that a lot, as he did in real life. Danny Heatley is actually up there in points, so he's the Oilers' leading scorer for this year. Gretzky sits in assists in total. He got 69 points in 82 games, so adding on to his point total, but lowering his points per game slightly. And these are the rest of the stats, should you care. In goal, these are the stats. Martin Brodeur leads in games played, shutouts, minutes played, and wins. Breaks the wins record, so yeah, he'll take the Vezina, almost guaranteed. Let's say him a couple days here, and then we'll look at the playoff tree. Unfortunately, Edmonton did not make it, but some other familiar teams did, such as Vancouver, St. Louis, Calgary, Detroit, and Anaheim. So St. Louis takes on Vancouver. Vancouver will probably win. Dallas takes on San Jose. I'll go with Dallas. Detroit, I think, will take out Calgary. Anaheim will take out Phoenix. Montreal will take out New York. Carolina will take out Florida. Tampa Bay will take out Ottawa. And Pittsburgh will take out Philly. So let's see how many of those I get right. Okay, guys, so a quick interruption if you were wondering who I'm nominating for the Hall of Fame. I'm going to nominate Dale Hunter to get up there. I think I'll go with Michael Goulet, Brian Bellows, Mike Liet, and Joe Mullen. So that's who I will go with. Although I wouldn't mind if Dale Hunter gets in. He probably will get it. He's gotten in real life. So anyway, so let's just continue simming. Yeah, so we are actually well in the way of the second round. But anyway, so Vancouver took out St. Louis, Dallas took out San Jose, Calgary took out Detroit, Phoenix swept Anaheim, New York took out Montreal, Montreal defeats Carolina, Ottawa wallops Tampa Bay, and Pittsburgh destroys Philly. Calgary's up 3-2 on Vancouver, Dallas is up 3-2 on Phoenix, Pittsburgh's defeating New York slightly 3-2, and Ottawa has already swept Florida. So I think Calgary, Dallas, and Pittsburgh will all win their series. Alright, so I was wrong only about one series. Dallas and Pittsburgh ended up finishing their series off the next day after I said that, but Vancouver managed to come back and defeat their biggest rival, and now they will be facing Dallas as the number 1 seed. I think they will defeat Dallas, and I think Pittsburgh will take out Ottawa. I can't believe Pittsburgh is still up here. I can't believe Calgary made it that far still. They've literally, the entire series, if you look back at, the first video, Calgary has still been that good. Probably not that good, but still really good. Okay, guys, so we have our Stanley Cup final here. Dallas took out Vancouver in 6, and Ottawa dismantled Pittsburgh in 5. So we got Dallas and Ottawa meeting for the Stanley Cup final. Dallas did not win in 1999, so they're hoping to avenge that. Meanwhile, Ottawa has never won the championship. So let's see if they can take their first franchise or their only championship in franchise history. Okay, so there you guys have it. Your new Stanley Cup champion. Ottawa Senators are your new Stanley Cup champions. I'm kind of glad they won, honestly. Historical notes for 2002-03. We got the greatest draft of all time was this year, so you can see that there are lots of different players here. Ryan Suter, Eric Stahl, Brent Seabrook, Mike Richards, Joe Pavelski, Dion Phaneuf, Corey Perry, Zach Parise, Ryan Kessler, Yaroslav Halak, Ryan Getzlaff, Brian Elliott, Marc-Andre Fleury, Tobias Enstrom, Jeff Carter, Corey Crawford, Ryan Callanan, and Brent Burns, among others. So we got, for the All-Stars for this year, we got literally a bunch of Canucks, Brodeur, Lidstrom, Zubov made the first team, and then no Oilers made it. I don't think. Martin Brodeur won the Vezina. Lidstrom took out the Norris. Calder went to Jason Pominville. Jim Lights, as the Mighty Ducks GM, gets GM of the Year. Kevin Adams gets the Selke. Rocket Richard goes to Lemieux. Art Ross Trophy goes to Lemieux. Sergei Zubov gets plus-minus award. Saving Grace Award goes to Pasi Numanen. Martin Brodeur gets Jennings. Paul Correa gets Lady Bain. Ron Francis gets Bill Masterton. Mark Messier Leadership Award goes to Doug Gilmore. Paladowski gets Ted Lindsay. Glenn Sadler gets the Jack Adams for the Canucks. Evgeny Nabokov takes home the Conn Smythe for Ottawa. And the Hart Trophy goes to Pavel Datsyuk of Florida. So let's go to the start of opening night, and we'll see if Gretzky finally hangs up his skates for good here. Okay, so if you're wondering who got in the Hall of Fame, Michael Goulet got in, Dale Hunter got in, Brad McCrimmon got in, and then this dude's name I can't pronounce, John Ogrodnik. Okay, so that's a name. So not super happy with that. I only nominated Michael Goulet out of all those players, but whatever, doesn't matter. I'm going to go to the Oilers roster now and see if Gretzky is somehow still there. And he is not. He has retired. Goodbye. Danny Heatley is now the leader of the Oilers, followed by Marleau and Leclavier. All of them are starting to grow into their roles. And then if you look at potential, they got some other good players coming up. Scott Hartnell, Tomas Kamensky, and Matt Molson. And then Philip Boucher is their best D-man, so I think they need to work on D, apparently, as they seem to have enough forwards for the time being, anyway. So let's look up Wayne Gretzky here. We'll look at his career stats. I think I'll compare some stuff from the first season to the last, and then I will call this a very long video. So Wayne Gretzky retired at 41 years old. He's a living legend among everyone. He is retired. It has been confirmed. So these are his career stats. In his last year, he got 69 points in 82 games. Still really good. And his final career stats. He gets, in the National Hockey League, 3,355 points, 1,241 goals, 2,114 assists. So he blows away. Absolutely blows away his real record. So he he killed his goals record, he killed his assist record, and he killed his points record. And he probably has some other records here. History. So he retired at 41. His number was retired by Oilers immediately. So he has, these are all of his awards. I'll just scroll through this back and forth. Let's see how many championships he won. Last one he won was in 1992. So he got one in 91 as well. And he also won the Conn Smythe Trophy that year. So we got 1990 as well. So 3 championships. We got 1987. He won a championship. So 4. In 1985, he won a championship. 1984, he won a championship. 6 championships in his career. He ended up, in real life, he won 4. So he won 3 more if he stayed in Edmonton. And Edmonton won more if he had stuck around. And I guess if the rest of the players had stuck around as well, like Gary Curry, Paul Coffey, stuff like that. So pretty soon here, I'm not sure exactly when, you should be getting a screenshot of the Oilers roster today versus their roster in 1988 to compare the two rosters. As you can probably see if it's up on your screen now, the 1988 roster was just a little bit better, just a little bit, and it had guys like it had Gretzky, Messier, Glenn Anderson, Esa Tikkanen, Yeri Curry, Paul Coffey, Gret Fier, and Andy Moog on it, but anyway, so I think I'm going to call that for a video and for the series. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the series, and hope you guys continue to stay safe here with the COVID-19 pandemic. So, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to call it